Hey beauties, good evening to you beauties. My heart is saddened just now because this is something that has been ongoing for a little bit. And when I say ongoing, I remember some years ago I heard a pastor preaching and he was saying that a study was done. I don't know if it is locally or internationally. I'm trying to remember. But I think he was speaking about our local youngsters. That's 70% of them, and it's a mix within that 70%. 70% of them would have either committed suicide or thought about committing suicide or tried to commit suicide. And this was a study, I think it was done right here in Jamaica. I'm not 100% sure because it was years ago that I heard the message. And we know that a number of young people are struggling because, I remember when I was listening to something from Lisa Hannum, and there was a summit that was done, that, and Dr. Herbert Gale was a part of it in 2019. And in that summit, it was like a large percentage, either 50 something or 75% of the young people who committed different violent acts and criminal acts did so because their mothers in particular tortured them. And she even gave the story of being at a particular remand center talking with some young girls. One was kind of falling asleep on her shoulder. And during the conversation, the girl just jumped up and said, I know how I'm going to kill my mother. And she was flabbergasted and she said, why would you want to do something like that? And she said, my mother treats me horribly. She treats me really bad. Basically abuse me verbally, physically, psychologically, and otherwise. She's not going to say it like that. But it tantamounts to all of that. And what has happened is that obviously we know that absenteeism father has created a number of social ills when you don't have your father. I've often said, I know what people mean when they say my mother has been my mother and father, but unfortunately, she cannot be. She cannot be. There are so many things that only a man can teach. And one of those things that a man teaches both men and women, both girls and boys need their dads, is that sense of security and assurance that you can achieve anything you want to, and it resonates in your soul, in your heart. I'm not saying that the single mothers don't do it and people don't become achievers. They do. But there is this missing piece. There's a brokenness if you really talk to them. They're many times sad because something has not been there that only the father could have made the imprint in. So we understand that. We know that poor parenting, no parenting, and bad parenting is a major contributor to a number of young people thinking about suicide, because what has happened is that they're not built with stamina and stick-to-itiveness and a formidable sense of mind that says, no matter what the Jericho wall is, we're not going to make it tumble down. No matter what I face, we're going to survive it. Oftentimes many parents, because of their own brokenness, they pass on that baton to the children. So they verbally, psychologically, mentally, and physically abuse the child. And unfortunately, women in Jamaica, maybe across the world, have not been schooled in how to care for boys as opposed to girls. Somebody was saying that even in churches and other social events, schools and so on, teachers get irate and angry. Yes, there are issues. That's another topic which I dealt with. But female teachers get irate and angry because they're teaching on the basis of their own femininity. They can't make that distinction between, I'm dealing with boys, so I have to put on a different hat, versus dealing with girls, and they can't understand why the guys don't respond. Because as a woman, I cannot, maybe, I don't know, how do I put it? I'm a female, I've made that way. Because I'm made that way, I can't unmake myself that way. Similarly for men, they're made a particular way, they can't unmake themselves another way. They're innately men, so there are differences between the two of us. That is why the man years ago had said, women are from Mars, men are from Venus, or whichever way it was. Venus or Mars, whichever way it was. We think we use the side of men use more of the left side, we use more of the right side, but we use this, you understand, because of our femininity, masculinity. God deliberately designed it that way. But He deliberately designed us to have male and female in our lives, like husbands and wives, husband and wife. Male and female teachers to teach us the male way, how the male do it, and how the female will do it. But we need female to female connection on a platonic but wholesome sense. They need male to male connection on a platonic and wholesome sense. And that is missing in school. So it's like the men are there is an overcrowding of women, and the men can't deal with it. And we are not understanding because we're not wired in a particular way to help the man. That is why it says, the Bible says, the older women must school the younger women. And similarly, the older men guide the younger men. Because there are similarities there that only a man would understand the other man, and only a female will understand the female. And when that is lacking and trouble strikes, the man doesn't know how to deal with it because he's different from us as women. We're talkers, we get things out. When something bothers us as women, we get it out. We don't hold it back. We talk it out. By the time we talk it out, we have no time to think about getting rid of ourselves. Those women who do it are far and few. Maybe there's a clinical issue, a deeper issue that needs remedy, through medication or deliverance from God. Outside of those parameters, then it's a problem. But I'm simply saying to you that men, how they operate differently from us as women. And they tend to implode, they tend to hold in things. And when it becomes tumultuous, they end their lives. Judas was a prime example. Had Judas been a female, I guarantee you the female version of Judas would have not operated like that unless, it was definitely ordained. She probably would have gone and bawled and bawled and bawled and bawled and then tried to find a way to go and apologize to Jesus for what was done, because he never really sold Jesus out to be crucified. He just wanted them. He thought that they tricked him. And he thought that they were going to just kind of interrogate him so that he could free the people from the, what do you call those people again? Free is it the Jews or the Israelites from those wicked people? I will have to look back at it. But he wanted to free them from, as you would say, Backramaster. So he didn't realize what he had done, although he betrayed him. But he wasn't betraying him for him to get killed, so to speak. But he ended his life because he said, from I've done that, that's it. A woman may say, I feel horrible. I really should, but no, I can't, no. And by the time she started talk 2 times, she bawled. She doesn't have the energy to go and do that, generally speaking. Our boys are not being helped. They're roughed up. They're told, shut up your mouth. Don't bawl. Men don't bawl. Blah, 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 blah. Their coarse treatment is being emitted and exuded towards them. They're not taught how to express themselves. Get in touch when we say in their feminine side, just being able to talk. Being able to talk. They have Y. We have both male and female have Y and X chromosomes, which means I have a level of masculinity in some sense. They have a level of femininity. It has nothing to do with being, gay or straight. It's just how we are made by God. So there is that moment for men to express themselves. Nobody said their voice has to be squeaky and speaking like a female, but it is right for them too. They don't have that. By the time they say anything, yeah, girl, shut up your mouth. Move from here, sissy. And all the negative vitriolic words are hurled at them. They're browbeaten. Can't cry, can't this. And maybe many of them are bullied at home, bullied in the community, and bullied at school. So bullying is the order of the day. They get it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and when they come home, supper. And that's why our men are broken today. Look at how men treat women. Look at how the anger that is there, the aggression. Because unfortunately, they have had overbearing females and mothers in their lives and no fathers to guide them, to teach them respect a woman, respect females. But the teenagers, it becomes tumultuous. So when the hormones are changing and raging, they just say, I can't take it anymore. End it. That's it. My heart goes out to all teenagers, and I pray that God will take full control and intervene in their lives. Guys, follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this message, please.